Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Lovely to see you all here today. I'm Kiva from Kocharya, and we are here for our special Hero's Journey webinar series with our lovely alumnus, Avrril, who's the host of this webinar series. And today we have with us a very special guest. He is a renowned holistic health consultant and the founder of SOUKYA, the world's first integrated health destination, Dr. Issac Mathai. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me for this event. It is wonderful.
Thank you so much. So over to you now, Avrril. And as our guests, as our participants today are coming in, I'll just request you all to just share with us where you're joining in from, and then we can get started.
Thank you so much, Kiva. And thank you for everybody who's joined in. Welcome to our third episode in the Hero's Journey. I'm your host, Avrril Quadros, for those of you who don't know me. And wherever you are, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And I hope you're not going to bed without watching this, this podcast with a very, very humble, yet a very esteemed person in the healing space, in the medical field. It's my pleasure to count Dr. Issac Mathai as a friend. And more than that, he has taught me a lot, including being my counselor. So let me just give you a brief for those of you who may have not read the invitation. So I basically am going to talk about Dr. Mathai from my point of view as to how I know him. I met Dr. Mathai over a decade ago because I was really, really suffering, because I was overdosed on antibiotics as a kid. I had a lot of sinus issues. I was put on hormones and it's really painful for me. So I decided to take matters into my own hand and I decided to give homeopathy a try. And it literally changed my life. I started taking homeopathy way back then and I still continue. And for those of you who don't know, Dr. Mathai is the founder of one of the world's, one of the 10 most counted as one of the 10 most renowned international wellness centers. It's not a spa, it's a healing center, okay? So here, Dr. Mathai uses a combination of Ayurveda, homeopathy, naturopathy. He's a counselor, and of course, he's a trained medical doctor. So it's my pleasure to invite Doctor to talk about healing, counseling, how he handles people in the mental health space, and to talk about his journey. You all know that Dr. Mathai is known by many labels. I know Dr. Mathai as a wonderful human being, but people call him the doctor to the stars. He is the doctor to the King Charles, Queen Consort Camilla, the late Dr. Desmond, Reverend Desmond Tutu, and a host of Hollywood celebrities like Emma Thompson, Kate Winslet, Heidi Klum, a lot of important people, and international brands like even Tommy Hilfiger. So without further ado, Dr. Mathai, I want to welcome you for taking out time from your busy schedule. I know this has been planned a little earlier than usual because you're off for the coronation of the king. So thank you for taking time to be here. Dr. Mathai, I've heard of, before I start, is there anything that you would like to say about yourself and about SOUKYA and share something with us as a brief intro?
It's wonderful to have a dialogue with you, Avril. I know you for such a long time, and we so many times interacted about the spirituality in health and healing, and you are several times you stayed in SOUKYA, extended period and short period. You merge with the nature here, and you being a very spiritual person, you always valued SOUKYA and understood SOUKYA. I would say many out of thousands of people coming here, because of your practices, because of your understanding about mind, body, spirit connection, and because of very few people, doctors and other healthcare professionals or a counselor, believe in the importance of spirituality, not necessarily religion, in people's health and well-being. So you inculcated all that with your Buddhist practices and other learning and yoga and all those things. So it's wonderful to talk with you, and especially somebody had been to our place and understands SOUKYA in its true essence. And you are talking and asking about and interacting with me. That is wonderful. So on the way of your discussion, I could talk more about what we do in SOUKYA, or what is the meaning of what I practiced for the last 35 years on holistic healing, and how the mind, body, spirit connections, as well as how the different systems of medicine, including the Western medicine, has a role to play in acute and chronic diseases. And if time permits, I can give several examples to demonstrate how the mental, emotional, neurological, psychological, endocrinological impact on a health and well-being. So I would continue the dialogue with you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. That's one thing that is so unique about you, that you're always giving and giving and giving. And it's up to people to receive. And we have a very receptive audience today. So thank you for sharing with us. And yes, I've been to SOUKYA about 5 times. And I think the saddest part for me is to leave SOUKYA, because I'm so at home there. And yes, I absolutely believe that if you imbibe the essence of SOUKYA, I think healing is inevitable once you're there, because it's helmed by somebody like you. And the staff embody, that mindset that you have inculcated in them. That's another one thing I wanted to mention, everybody. Can we start, Doctor, by explaining to us, for those, there are a lot of international people on this call. Could you tell us, what does SOUKYA mean?
No, the word meaning is very simple. The ancient India, SOUKYA is a harmonious state of mind, body, spirit. And where we are in the South India, outside the city of Bangalore, the South Indian languages, when you greet a person asking, are you SOUKYA, means, are you in a well state, or how are you, or wellness, well-being, how is your well-being? Or somebody's admitted in a hospital, you say that, did he cured, or did he SOUKYA? So SOUKYA is a very meaningful word, which we took it from the ancient Sanskrit meaning to say that that's what we do. We create a harmonious state of mind, body, spirit. That's the essence of any healing. So SOUKYA is that, all about that. Then in a 30-acre organic farm, with different systems of medicine working under one roof, our aim is not focusing on the systems of medicine, our focus on the person. The person who has a mind, body, spirit, his environment, his nutrition, his ecological connection, his emotional, psychological, and also his spiritual life. What are happening to him in his normal health and in a disease condition. So a large number of people coming to SOUKYA with a serious medical condition from the world. That is, we try to do, if we can treat that. We cannot treat everything, but whatever we can treat, like at the moment, I have somebody from Canada suffering for the last 25 years. At the ones he's taking, unbelievable, very rarely we see somebody who's taking 35 different tablets and with about 20 different conditions. And it's a last resort is coming over. There again, my approach is, it's not the disease or diabetes or your lung disease or your immune system or a joints. That is not my point. That is only information. But what happened to your life, that's the most important thing. So when I look at that person from the childhood where his father was arrested and put in jail because of political prisoner, on the trauma from a 7, 8 years on to now 60 years old, what all happened is divorce and fight and this and that and failure in the business and all this. That accumulative effect of that in his life created who he is today. So you cannot give a pill or sleeping pill or that pill or that pill. Yes, that pills are all useful for a short period of time. So our approach is a person stay with us for a month to treat that person, understanding what happened in his life. So there is a psychological intervention. There is a sort of hand-holding, a mentoring, a advising, a helping, and change his lifestyle in a physical, mental, and spiritual perspective. Even if the person is a reasonably religious person, bring him back into a more understanding spirituality, cleansing his system with a naturopathic treatment, Ayurvedic treatment, regenerate his cells again, a regenerative treatment for rebuilding his system. Because even if it's only 60, your system may be running like 90. So the entire focus on that, and homeopathic medicine work wonders on the traumas and emotional traumas and the situation happened even in 50 years ago. I have so many stories about that. So our aim is to give that, to clear that imprint of that emotional traumas which they may forgot already, to his physical condition or his diabetes, which is mainly caused by his lifestyle situation and the stress. So change the lifestyle, change the eating habits, make him to walk, make him to do exercise, make him to do yoga, eat the proper diet. Within 3 weeks' time, you'll be a changed system, because our DNA studies find out that without treatment, about 3 weeks' time, person's DNA even changes in the DNA. At the moment, we are undertaking a research project where we can measure the anti-aging effect in the DNA without treatment, even within 2 weeks' time. So our entire aim is the person's really recreate his system, cleanse everything from his emotional, psychological, and subconscious to the spirit level. Cleanse his liver to the intestine, to your joints, to all his part of the body, and strengthening his neurological system. So there are different tools we use. That's why SOUKYA is a holistic center with a mind, body, spirit. And what we practice is, along with that one, integrating different systems of medicine. I won't be able to take away all his 25 medicine in one go, but I can reduce it by the end of the time. We can reduce it into half of it or 1/3 of it in discussion with his doctors. So our aim is to regain his health and recorrect his mind, body, and spirit, and put him back into a normal track so he can go forward in a better shape. That is what in essentially we do. But somebody without a disease comes over, any disease at all, we can help their health and well-being, improve the health and well-being, and rebalance or recreate their system in a particular way. This is what is essentially I do.
That's a lot, doctor. What you essentially do is quite a lot, and I've experienced it. I always come out of SOUKYA feeling like $1 million. And I've seen you working with people. I've seen you counseling people, not in person, but I've heard what people have said about you, because all this is obviously confidential. You know, something struck me, doctor, and I just want to draw a parallel for the people on this call. You said something very critical, that we as coaches also, we operate from a similar framework. You said you're not treating the person because of what happened and this and that and everything. You're treating the person, the who. Who is this person and what has he gone through? You're addressing the person as a whole. And that's something that we as coaches can relate to, because we always talk about the who, the person, and the what, the situation. So like you said, the situation is XYZ, his father, this, that, all those are situations. And it has amalgamated into something that has led him to come to you as a last resort. So I just wanted to point out that parallel for people, you know, so that if they, you know, so that it's very astute what you just said. And the second thing that struck me about what you said was that you treat a person as a whole, the essence of the person on a spiritual, psychological, mental, physical. You're treating every single aspect of the person. And that's something, again, that we as coaches look for. You know, how is, because if, and you said something like in conjunction with his doctors, you can't take him off his medicine completely initially, eventually, maybe, but you're also in conjunction with his doctors. So there is a place for everything in a person's life. So thank you so much for sharing that. I just wanted to ask you, doctor, this podcast is called A Hero's Journey, okay? And you are so many people's hero. And I know that for a fact. So I was just wondering, what does this mean to you?
Okay, you are telling hero. I am not a hero. I am a good doctor. So you know, even any good doctors are all could be heroes, because for that patient, they are giving relief, they are helping them, yes, they are saving their life, and they are giving answers and all that thing. So any good doctor is a hero for the patient, not the rest of the world necessarily. But anyway, so you know, what happens is, when in my early childhood, also my father was a very prominent social activist and all that. He said, whichever the field you are in, whether you are a lawyer, you are a police, whatever the field you are in, you should try to do the best. And whatever the people you interact with, he was a priest. So he's interacting not only with his parish members, so he was with the socially, with all the other religious leaders and people, everything. You try to do the best for the human being, irrespective of whether what you believe and what you are standing for. That is your personal thing. So he shown us a lot of ways. Like I still remember when I was about 14 years old, one of the biggest India's spiritual guru was visiting my hometown. I went and listened to his speech. And when I'm 24, I started to do transcendental meditation. I started to read a lot about Hinduism, being a Christian. Hinduism, I started to practice yoga. I started to do a lot of things. Even now also I chant some Hindu mantras along with the Lord's Prayer and along with other methodologies. So it's our religion and everything beyond this individual faith and this and that. You have to go beyond that. I may be the one person, a Christian person with a strong faith in Christianity, travel all the way to Mount Kailash, or spending few days with the Dalai Lama. All these things, all different tradition, different things will give us a lot of information and a lot of knowledge and a lot of blessing, a lot of things which you can do for others. It's not only if your nirvana or your peace of mind or happiness, by helping other people, you get more happiness. So I am sure that all your coaches will be doing that. Somebody is having major issue, or somebody has minor issue, or financial issue, or lifestyle issue, or diseases, or anything like that. You are holding their hand. You are carrying their mind and helping them to transform themselves. And that you are doing amazing work. And because I believe that his doctor's role is only one role in dealing with people. Unfortunately, the medicine became like action and injections and pills and surgery. So that's what the money is. But the real healing is standing with the people and holding their hand, sympathize with them, helping them one way or the other. And when you do that in the early stages of any disease or life itself, you won't get the disease. You won't reach in that stage of disease or ill health or illness or anything like that. So when I segregate the disease, the last stage of any transformation in a pathological stage, only I call disease, whether cancer or an ulcer or bleeding or a heart block or anything. But 4 stages before that, when a person has imbalances by emotional state or financial or his eating habits or anything like that, that if you want to treat it properly, then that will go into illness. That illness is not treated properly. Imbalance is leading to illness. Illness is not treated. It will become a disease. Or a lot of things will be self-limiting by itself when the situation or causative factors move away from it. So you people, what you're doing is an amazing work by helping people. We need more and more coaches. And interestingly, I have to tell you that suddenly I'm remembering, in England with the Prince Charles blessing or King Charles blessing now, they started a methodology called the social prescribing. Major idea about social prescribing is now is about 24 countries are accepted this as a methodology for helping people. So people not necessarily have any medical education or medical training like nurse or a physician's assistant or something like that, can be the small training, go into the society, try to help people. For example, if you are walking into a teenage children's issues, somebody can listen to them, relate to them, advise them not to get into drug, not to get into unhealthy eating habits, how to balance their emotional, psychological state in that time of their life. Or somebody is 80 years old, lonely, sitting there, having diseases, having depression. Somebody go and sat with them and talk to them and comfort them. That itself is the biggest healing. That will give better than an antidepressant or any medicine. So social prescribing is going to be a global phenomenon, and that's going to be accepted by more and more countries, where any of the people who have different skill, somebody may be a good yoga teacher, somebody can be a good counselor, somebody can be a good dietitian. Anybody can help other people. That way the burden on the hospitals and doctors can come down and help a lot.
That's fantastic. I didn't know about this term social prescribing, and I didn't know that it was started by King Charles. But it's wonderful because, like you're saying, I mean, we all can do our bit. Everybody can contribute to humanity. It doesn't have to fall only on the, on the healthcare, side of it. So thank you for sharing that with us. And we appreciate your encouragement for us as coaches. Doctor, you hail from a very important family. Your family has been in the homeopathic medical practice for over 50 years. Your late father, Father Mathai Nuranal, was a prominent priest of the Indian Orthodox Christian Church. And your late mother, Annamma Mathai, Dr. Annamma Mathai, was a dedicated homeopathic physician who did a lot of social work and helped the poor a lot. For more than 55 years, besides the medical angle, what qualities have helped you in your practice that you imbibed from your parents as people?
Interestingly, because I didn't born into a big city with the big infrastructures and all that. I born into a very small village, and that time it is a village, it is now a small town, and next to a rainforest in Wayanad in Kerala. So my mother was a doctor for about 60-kilometer radius when she started her practice. And my father, being a priest, is not only associated himself of the issues of the members of the church, he was socially well accepted, including the communists to the BJP, to all the parties in that time, different parties, but now that parties, everybody supported him. He collaborated with everybody. He did a lot of social reform. And so he always felt that a responsibility of a leader or a priest or anybody is to help everyone, not only your Christians or Hindus or somebody or the other. So his social work and everything helped and made me understand to continuously do that along with my national and international practice, and started some charitable clinic in near Bangalore, where we are treating about 150,000 population from about 150 villages free of charge. That is, money is coming from SOUKYA's income, no other donations, nothing else. That's my father's. And also, he always felt that the healing happens in a Christian perspective. With Jesus, healing is always with mind, body, spirit. Today, 90% of the people follow Jesus, won't understand that. Even the hospital there won't understand that. Maybe they started in that way, but now it's all oriented towards how much more money you make and how much investigation do, how much you do this. But still they are helping, like any other organization, anybody like that. So I'm not criticizing them. So what I mean is, in a true meaning of healing is that spirituality, and that aspects I understood from the young age, from my father's background and his actions and work and everything. And my mother, she's a devoted doctor. Even the midnight, somebody knocked the door, because he has a clinic next to in the house itself. Anywhere anybody comes, the bleeding or accident or anything like that, she was there to help them. So I remember when I was maybe 11, 12 years old, I was helping her at night with addressing their wound and all that. So her compassion and everything is not based on, and also all the patients are very poor people and tribals and all this. So I got rich experience by understanding, even treating one of my earliest patients when I was doing the final year of medical college, is to attend the tribals, because they don't know my degree. They don't know whether I'm a real doctor or not. So I can ask questions in their language and talk to them and give them medicines. And interestingly, medicine work much faster too with them. And the psychological impact of treatment I learned from the tribal people, because in that time, for ultimate treatment will happen with an injection. So they will insist that for everything you need to give an injection. And 90% of the cases, you don't need to give an injection. So, but to satisfy them, to give an injection. So what will be the injection? It can be a distilled water, it can be a calcium gluconate, it can be a vitamin, it can be anything. And you cannot keep on giving the colorless injection, because they don't have any faith in you. So you have to make little colors in it, like, government hospitals in the villages at that time always had a colored water in different bottles. So until a patient feels that he is getting something different. So there is a learning. What I learned is the psychological impact on your effect on your system is amazing, unbelievable. Because I have seen that somebody with so much of pain and he's jumping around, and you give a normal medicine, he won't believe in that because of the capsule or tablet. But as soon as you give an injection, within 2 minutes time, he's okay. So what is an impact? Without knowing psychoneuroimmunology or psychosomatic diseases, I have witnessed to it. So these are all the early ages. It's imprint in your subconscious mind that healing is very mysterious. Maybe I wrote 2 books. My next book will be The Magic of Healing. It's mysterious. And today, the most intellectual, most educated, most successful businessman in the world is also behave the same way like the tribal or Adivasi. It's not because of the injection, but because of his belief system. So you are dealing with a person's belief system, with his background, with his knowledge and understanding, but none of it happened in an intellectual level. It will happen in an emotional and a deeper level of understanding. That is the mystery of healing or transformation in a person's life.
Thank you, Doctor, for explaining that so well. And I'll be getting a lot of reactions, and everybody is really, really resonating with what you're saying. And thank you for being so open and sharing, your experience and giving us that example. Doctor, I've personally seen and I've heard of people who swear by your healing hands. They say, Dr. Mathai has healing hands. And they travel across the globe year after year, some of them coming for the last 15 years. Every single year they come. What is that USP that you have and that SOUKYA has? And why do people say that you have healing hands, including me?
I don't know. It is not me. You are not correct. I would say that any good doctor has a healing hand because they have a pure healing intention. I have seen neurosurgeons with a healing hand. I have seen cardiologists with a healing hand, psychologists or psychiatrists with a healing hand. So what is that? That is their essence of their intention, of their purpose in their life, in devoted to one particular field, whatever the system of medicine, whatever the profession they are, profession means medical profession, I would say. And their intention is to help that patient to relieve or recover, or help them to improve their pain and discomfort, or help them in a healing process. So anybody, I can say that it can be acquired also by a young doctor. He transforms himself with this intention and the purpose in life is to be a good doctor and do his best in whatever the field he is in. He can be a great healer. And I have seen many, hundreds, thousands. So it is nothing unique about it. Any good doctor is like that. But in SOUKYA's case, because it was my dream to establish a healing center, a holistic health center, with the different systems of medicine, that is very unique. Otherwise, every system will work by itself. By Ayurveda only hospital, homeopathy only. He said, no, we can work together. So we are working closely with the Western medical experts like cardiologists and diabetologists and psychiatrists, everybody. That we don't have a person here in SOUKYA, but we always collaborate with them. But we have Ayurvedic doctors, naturopathy doctors, homeopathy doctors, yoga, therapeutic yoga, acupuncturists, and psychological intervention by counselors and psychiatrists and psychologists and all range of things. But what we use is what is needed for the person and put that person into a healing sanctuary of 4,000 trees and the lotuses, flowers, birds. So all your 5 senses are influenced naturally if you give mindfulness into it, awareness into it. Otherwise, you will come and go like somebody go to city and come back without seeing any building. So you give them an opportunity to cut you away from your hectic or non-hectic or empty life into a meaningful life, understand what happens to you in this environment, give enough time to reflect yourself and reflect on your life and make modification and never training over here. So we are a vegetarian place, but I never ever converted anybody into vegetarian, but I made them better meat-eating people. Or they stop eating for a while, or they reduced a lot. Even I treated or transformed a lot of bad vegetarian people, eating a lot of ghee and fried food and oily food, and rich man is keeping all the dirty food inside the filthy food, not dirty, filthy food inside the fridge and eating again and again, getting more sick, to make him understand that what is the purpose of the wealth? Actually, your driver is better than that because he doesn't have a fridge. So eating naturally normal food, but you are eating all the because you don't want to even give the food to your own servant. So you are transforming him that also. Don't be selfish like this. You have 20 servants at home. Why don't you give the leftover food the same night itself to the servant? Not with this rotten. So I transformed a lot of the so-called ladies at home, they're in charge and all that thing. So that is transforming your own life or learning to give. And if you don't give your own people, how you live yourself? So that too, eating better, to meditate and yoga. And recently I have somebody 75-year-old. He had a back problem. He's a doctor. He never did yoga in his life. And he was laughing about yoga. Now he's doing it. Unless you give them an experience.
Yes.
Or meditation, he said, what meditation? I don't need all that. I said, you try it a few times. Now he's practicing every morning. That is the transformation. So we can teach. You don't have a doctor to do that. Anybody can teach anybody. For example, yoga, mindfulness. It's very difficult for my dining room for people to change it into mindful eating by not talking. You know that. But a lot of them, they want to socialize. They want to talk all the time. It is an experience. Then only they will understand. So what I'm trying to give them an experiential living. understand the better quality and things which you can improve and enhance your own health and well-being, not only physical health, your mental and your spiritual health. I give prescription for people to pray. I make prescription to go and walk and talk to the trees. They may think that I'm weird, but I said, that's okay. And appreciate that flower, appreciate that flower, appreciate the lotus. This morning I'm walking into my office, I saw the most beautiful lotus. It's looking like a gem. It's better than a diamond. But by afternoon it's closed. So when you have that moment, you enjoy that. You connect with that and you experience that. Or the full moon, to stars, to the weather. So even if there is a hot weather, you are talking a little earlier about 42 degrees in Bangalore, but still you can have a lot of happiness from that. Not the heat, but look at the other aspect of it. You have plenty of trees, you have shade, you have nice breeze, and you don't need to be suffering like some other parts of the world. Thank God for that. So constant appreciation of nature, appreciation of your blessings, and appreciation of your own life. That will make anybody happy and healthy.
Wow, thank you, Doctor. This episode is seeming almost like a master class from you, because we're learning so much. There are so many words which I think so many coaches can relate to. Transformation, intention, being in the present moment, having awareness, appreciation. These are things that the best of us, even no matter how qualified we are, 42 degrees, there's something to appreciate. Maybe you can eat an ice cream and feel happy that it's summer and you can enjoy an ice cream. So thank you for your perspective on that. Doctor, most of us on this call are coaches, maybe counselors, people who are experts in their own field. And a lot of people want to be coaches, or they're just interested in the subject that we're talking about. What gives you the ability to reach a person? Because I've seen you talking to people in such a empathetic way with so much involvement that you seem to reach through the person, cutting across all barriers of culture, identity, socio-economic structure. So what gives you that ability, Doctor?
Now, fundamentally, the basic principle in homeopathy, one of the most important things in homeopathy is the observer, a coach or a psychologist or a doctor or anybody, should be an unbiased person. That's a very difficult thing for people to do. So when a person comes, you can have your opinion, you can think about based on the person dressing up this way, that way, somebody is very arrogant when they come in, then this, then that, all that. But you have to remove all that and think that this is a human being. There is something which is bothering or having problem with this person. Let us take away all that external glamour or this or that, anything. Just go into their inner self. And some of the people cannot open up that much in the beginning, but you make them comfortable to do that with other examples and all this. And also, I would say the best healer in the world will be the biggest listener, not talker. A lot of psychologists and a lot of people think that talking is solving. No, talking is not solving. Listening is solving. So even if you attempt to talk when they tell the story, don't interrupt. Make them to talk. Make the in-between, you may necessarily give a one question and leave it. Some of the cases I sat for 1 hour without asking anything. Because they, once they feel that comfort with you, trust in you, they will talk to you more than they talk to anybody in the planet Earth. I'm keeping a lot of people's husband or wife secrets with me that husband or wives know each other, but they know each other. So that trust they have in you, and you have to honor that trust whatsoever. Anyway, that everybody knows that. Then that trust and that listening and genuinely, because when I am sitting with a guest, I will not attend my calls. Nobody can interrupt me. Nobody can unless I call them. And it's unconditional. And fortunately, because I charge very well, I can afford to give them unlimited time. I can spend a new patient 4 to 5 hours, minimum 2 hours. After they do a detailed case study of 2 or 3 or 5 hours. And when you do in depth go in, and some of the cases I give another 1 week for me to understand the person. Before that, I cannot get a conclusive opinion because then I may be biased. So I keep on asking them that, telling them that, no, I need to have more information, what's going on in your life. At the moment, somebody is saying he has 56-year-old, and he's telling nothing happened before 25 years. I don't know. Don't tell me a lie. You don't know what happened. That's a problem. So you go out and think about it. What happened? What exactly happened in your relation with your father? What happened? He said, nothing. I'm first fine. I said, you are not fine. Someday we had to contradict. Because there is something. Now, after 3, 4, 5, 6 days, he started to open up. Say that, yes, it's like this, it's like that. Oh, but everywhere like that. What is it? Everywhere is not like that. That's what you think. Or what happened in sexual abuse? What happened in harassment in the school? What happened to mother-in-law? What happened to your husband's abuse? What happened to this? What happened to that? There is so much story behind, because there is no, that's my belief, there is no physical disease will stay without a cause behind it. There is IBS, cancer, chronic diseases, anything. Because if there is no cause behind it, it will settle by itself without our knowledge. I told you about earlier about balance, imbalance. When a balance state, nothing will develop. But imbalance for a long time, which is not healed by itself or by intervention, then illness, then diseases. So people go to a doctor when they get into disease only. So, and all, there is not a single chronic disease I haven't seen without the involvement of the mind. There is an involvement of mind of every case. So that makes a huge, it's my belief, because I have seen thousands and thousands of cases, and I went through the case studies deep level when I was based in England. Our entire methodology is to case study is the most important thing. Not like prescribing medicine. That is the least important that anybody can do. But when you do a case study, you understand the patient or a person fully, and you keep on like a research on that person. That's a unique person. He has no similarity to anybody, including his brother, sister, nobody. So understand that. And over a period of time, when you dealt with the thousands of people, you get that sense and psychic ability. People ask me, are you a psychic? I said, that's your experience. It's not a psychic like something came to you and then you're doing. But a lot of occasions, when I seek my answer, I get the answer. Because you're tuned. A lot of occasions, I don't have an answer what to say. Sometimes I seek, what should I say now? It'll come to you. Because you're tuned. Nowadays, with the Google and everything, is easy to understand. You just put a word, you will get all the answers. But you don't put Google, you see the answer. It will come to you.
Yeah. Wow, doctor, I don't feel like asking you any more questions. I wish only you could talk, because whatever you're sharing with us is something that all of us on the call are relating to. People are sending hearts. My own mentor, Ujjwal is on the call. My mentor who taught me coaching is on the call, and he's been sending so many messages of appreciation, because the non-judgment, the going into a person, the keeping your mouth quiet and allowing people to speak, being a good listener. This is exactly what we are taught to do as coaches, to have unconditional positive regard for people, irrespective of how they dress, what they say, how they look. Because like you said, everything is mental. There is some trauma behind any kind of illness or any kind of problem in your life. There's some anxiety or trauma. So thank you so much, because this is truly a masterclass for us. So thank you so much for being so open. Doctor, I just wanted to ask you, can you tell us about what is your passion for homeopathy? Because there are a lot of misconceptions about homeopathy that people have. So what is your passion about homeopathy? And can you tell us a few things that people don't know and how it could help them?
Now, homeopathy is fundamentally a one system of medicine developed in Germany more than 200 years ago. But homeopathy is truly a holistic medical methodology, because homeopathy always deals with the mind, body, and spirit. Spirit, that is not understood that time, but mind, body, and spirit also, yes. Because fundamental principle of homeopathy that any disease to develop, there will be an imbalance in the mind and the spirit. When I said the spirit, it's a life force.
Yeah, life force.
The life force can be influenced by an incident happen in your life, or a shocking situation, or even with a bacteria or a virus or a COVID. So all can affect you.
Yeah.
So that is one of the fundamentals. And use natural materials to treat that condition. And homeopathy is very, very effective as well as a magic type of a method, because we say magic with homeopathy. I can give hundreds of stories. I can tell a story of yesterday. The boy, 8 years old boy, 4 months, he's going around with all the top Bangalore gastroenterologists, pediatric gastroenterologists, with abdominal pain and vomiting sensation. And gastro and pediatric neurologist, because one top hospital couldn't figure out in the February month. Then to the other top hospital, another pediatric, and other pediatric gastroenterologist and pediatric neurologist and pediatrician, and everybody beating around the bush and putting so much investigations and all that things. And nothing is happening. He's taking more and more medicine, more and more scanning, everything. No, pain is not going. He's crying all the time. He cannot eat anything. He's vomiting, not vomiting, is nauseous feeling. Okay.
Nauseous.
So they brought me, usually I won't see outpatients or anything like that, as somebody recommended that I should see the child. So mother is a patient. So within 2 minutes, I diagnosed. I said, this is a simple issue, but there is something behind it. I asked him, how was his childhood? What is happening in school? And what is happening with the father and mother? That gave me the answer. And he is an oversensitive, overreactive child for the last, knowingly, about 5 years. But that nobody treated, nobody understood. And I told this boy, because I know that's possible, I said, 3 days he will be fine. How? Because of your experience. So I give a simple homeopathic medicine, 2 medicine. When this person, the child was taking so much of allopathic medicine, nothing is happening. Simple 2 medicine, one is for gas, release the gas, simple. One is for nauseous feeling. And given every half an hour, go and drink some coconut water, sit in my dining for 3 hours, let me see how you are. I told him 3 days you'll be fine. 3 hours, he was fine. So you can call it as a magic, but it's not magic. It's a true effect of homeopathy, but you should know which medicine to give and which potency to give. And homeopathy is a magical methodology of treatment. It's very effective. People can talk to this placebo, this, that, everything, or it has steroid, that's nonsense. Homeopathy doesn't have any steroid, no chemicals, nothing at all. It is truly a good science. But at the same time, somebody having a brain stroke, you're not going to homeopathy doctor, give medicine and wait for 3 hours. No, that's stupid. Or a cardiac arrest. So it depends on what type of condition. Today's world is easy. If you have a pediatric case or a neurological case, you go to a neurologist. You won't go to a gynecologist because she's also a doctor. That depends on the case. So when you apply the properly, homeopathy is amazing. Then it's very cost effective if you normally. Yes. And we usually look at it. In the COVID time, we treated few 100,000, like few lakhs patients in my clinic, village clinic. And none of them got COVID. How is that? How is that? That means homeopathy is magic. Then better to do that magic to everybody. If you say that's a placebo, then it's better to give placebo rather than steroids.
Absolutely, yeah.
And those who need steroid, maybe 10%, take them for steroid. Why do you want to give everybody steroid? Everybody antibiotics, everybody this. So it is an appropriate use. So homeopathy is truly a true holistic healing methodology, and good homeopathy doctors do magic. But I won't say everybody is a good doctor. A lot of them are not good. A lot of them are name of homeopathic name, they practice allopathic medicine because it's very easy to practice allopathy. I know practice, but I know. If you have a knowledge about 50 medicine, you can be a good practitioner in a village and you can make enough money to live very well. So fake doctors are there. That doesn't mean the good ones are there. But in India, fortunately, has the largest number of qualified homeopathy doctors in the world. And practice very well. I have seen in my mother's practice, I've seen my practice, my group of doctors practice everywhere and internationally, I know. It's an amazing system of medicine for an appropriate use in appropriate time. But every chronic disease in homeopathy, you have to always look at the mind and the mental state. It's not mental disease. The state of mind. Now, how do you treat a child? This child have a fear of darkness. Do you have medicine for fear of darkness? But in homeopathy, there's a medicine for that. It's a proven medicine. And if you give that medicine for a couple of months, he will not have a fear of darkness. I have hundreds of cases like that. And another thing is, when I look at the child, I already diagnosed because my experience show me something. So you see, in traditional Ayurveda, diagnosis was done by darshanam. That means looking at a person. Yeah. A good doctor can understand so many things by just looking at the person. Because his eyes are trained to see that. Today's good doctors won't even look at the person at all. They look at only scan mission and report. That is not showing the person, that's showing a structure. So how can you look at the structure and decide the person? They forget the person behind the structure. But a good observation, good second is dialogue. Third is personal, means touching. You hold a hand, you know whether it's cold or hot. If that is relevant to you, today Western medicine is not relevant. That's stupid actually. But they don't know how to interpret. I know a world-famous doctor teaching in Stanford. He's ended teaching in the best Western medical hospital or teaching hospital. Dr. Abraham is a big writer also. His books are all world bestseller novels and all that. He's teaching how to examine the patient. Why? You are teaching how to examine the patient because Western medical colleges examining patient is gone. Nobody knows how to examine. Nobody knows how to feel your liver. Because that's over. Now everybody is looking at the screen or report, X-ray and reports and talking. Who is talking to the patient? So that disconnect should be reconnected. So when you do that by looking, feeling, talking, and examining, you know what's happening. The person more than any scan which can tell you. Then you need scan, temperature control, your X-ray machine, your this and that, everything, blood test, everything you should do. You should reject that. You should use it as a one tool. But that is not giving you the answer. That's only helping you to find out the answer. So interacting with the patients, and I can tell you a very big difference because I regularly practice in London and New York and in India. A top consultant in London will spend 1 hour. If you're a diabetologist, you pay through the roof, but they spend 1 hour with you. Or my patients, I always refer to the endocrinologist to reorganize their medicine, or neurologist or specialist. In India, how much time do they spend? 10 minutes. What do you understand 10 minutes? Nothing. So a doctor is blind by least information and he's treating the reports. He's not treating you. Other than, I don't think other than psychologists and psychiatrists, nobody spend time. Nobody has time. So, so the same endocrinologists in India and endocrinologists in London give a very different, same medicine, Western medicine only, or America. So it depends on, I would say, the very good doctor, I would say good doctor, very good doctor who spend time with the patients. And I'll say a definition of the great doctor. I said good doctor, very good doctor. The great doctor won't treat the disease of the parts, he'll treat the person. So I would say any holistic doctor are great doctors.
Thank you, doctor. So basically what you're saying is that you're present with your patient, you're understanding the patient, and then you're using these additional, but you're not addressing you're not addressing the person part by part. You're looking at the person as a whole and you're fully attentive to the person. That's what you're saying, basically, from what I'm to understand.
Yes. So today I got a report of eye edema, of the retinal edema. My first question is, when was the chapter in July? I said, what happened 2 months or 3 months or 6 months before July? So death of the mother. And how she dealt with it. Very bad. So that is where I'm starting. Not on the swelling. Hey, you can give a steroid injection and reduce the swelling, but that's not going to cure. Because if you suppress that, something else will pop up. Yeah. So you have to take, even the mother was suffering from fibrosis before I know the mother. And she is expected to die, all that, but still it's a trauma. Yeah. Not all the traumas are not bad. Some traumas are good too. But how you are going above that tide and resolving and being peace with that, that needs spirituality. That needs peace in mind. That needs meditation, prayers, and practices. That is why when you look at the Indian tradition, the Hinduism or Christianity, anything in Indian tradition, you have a lot of rituals and so many things help. That is not for the good time, that's for the bad time. But you cannot do only for the bad time to go. There will be some people, when there's a trouble, they'll go and pray. It won't work. God cannot be bright by praying in the appropriate time. You constantly do that. You'll are constantly getting the calm, peace, and harmony, happiness, and all the good ingredients for your spirit and life and everything. That's what you need, isn't it?
Yes, doctor.
It's just man also asking for more money for what? Not because he cannot do anything with that money. It can be greed, or it can be giving me more happiness. I ask this question to some people, how much more you want? How much more you need? Why you are doing it? You have so many, already have this many millions and billions and all that. They said, no, that will give me happiness. So a lot of people do things for happiness.
Yeah,
Somebody is
absolutely.
wrong doing, like over drinking alcohol also. Somebody told me, it will make me very happy. That's why I'm drinking about 120 ml every day. I said, that will make you maybe mentally happy, but your liver is already crying. So it's going to burst if you continue like this. So he agreed that he'll do only the weekend, but half of it. I said, that's a good compromise. So he's happy, but same time his liver is not going to burst.
Absolutely. Thank you, Doctor. Doctor, can I ask you one last question before I open up the panel, for about 10 minutes of questions? I've seen a lot of pictures in SOUKYA about how you painstakingly built SOUKYA with your wife, Dr. Issac Mathai. And I've seen literally you putting brick by brick in the hot sun with an umbrella, with your little 3 children walking around. And when I look at those pictures, I can see your blood, sweat, and tears invested in SOUKYA. And that's what I actually wanted to know about as your hero's journey from, being a doctor, being qualified, having studied in London, studied in so many different places, and then having this vision of building something to give back to people. Can you please just briefly tell us about what was your journey like?
Mysterious.
Oh, okay.
Because I never planned anything of any of this level or any of this way. So it was a lot of blessing, a lot of guidance. And if anybody think that I'm a visionary to create, no, I was never ever. But it is provided. But you are always seeking. You are always seeking. You are not dreaming for this. You might dream of some much smaller things. But then the abundance of God and grace helped me to create is much, much beyond my imagination, though I can call it as a miracle. So that miracle should help more and more people, then it's meaningful miracle. So for me, it was a lot of struggle in the very beginning and a lot of struggle because you are desire to fulfill. And you are doing and borrowing and struggling and this and that and everything. It was a difficult time. But after that, when you look back, I can count only blessings. I can count only miracles happen in my life. So I want to share that miracle with the people, my people coming to me. And with the unknown people in my villages, they are seeking for help with your extension of your hands. And fortunately, how do I get patients around the world? I don't know. Somebody came from South America. I said, how do you know about SOUKYA? They said, no, we are flying somewhere. We are talking something. They said, no, you should go to SOUKYA in India. I was the last person who's going to India for medical treatment. He's a very wealthy man. I said, but when I heard that, I felt I should. Then I went to the website. He said, oh, you people have all the famous people coming. That means you won't be bad. So when I started SOUKYA 20 years ago, when an American lady near Washington, D.C., important lady in town, not Washington, nearby, want to come to India, everybody said, no, you people go to India, you get sick only. Nobody go to India to get well. You go to India, you'll get stomach upset. You get this. That's India that time. Surely, yes. There's not even bottle available in that time. But she talked to some people and they were all connected because the CA headquarters is near that town. So there are a lot of people living in that town is connected with the CA. They said, we'll get check on this doctor who's a, snake oil man or real doctor or what and all that. And so they contacted their counterparts in India and they got a certificate saying that, no, he's a genuine doctor, good doctor. He has good qualifications and everything. So go to him. So this lady came all the way to India, spent 3 weeks with me and went back as a new person. Next visit, 3 months time, I have visit to the same town to see patients. So they called me for an invitation for a lecture to the entire town hall, to the entire leaders of the society and the doctors and everything. What is that miracle you are doing there in India? So many people came from that same little town from near Washington, D.C. and Washington all over. So the result talk. So that give you a tremendous happiness. So if you ask me, what was your purpose? My purpose is to do the best for my patients and extend that to others too, and to be a model globally. And I'm glad that Government of India took my village model as a model and establishing all the primary health centers around India. I am happy. I don't need a name for that at all, but I'm happy that your work and work for the poorest of the poor people in the villages, because we are giving free treatment. free medicine, consultation, everything. So that's transforming India. I don't want any credit on that. I don't want to name anywhere. That's not my purpose.
Yeah.
So SOUKYA is a global model. When the Prince Charles, in that time Prince Charles, he came to SOUKYA, walked around, he said, I never seen anything like this anywhere in the world. And that's the biggest reward for, and not only it's coming and staying and undergoing treatment. 15 years I was privately talking and treating him, but that I cannot discuss. But such a person like the Bishop Tutu come and walk around and telling that this is a healing place. I said, you got it. Thank you. Because this is a healing place. It's not about me. If I go also, because we create sins which will last forever. And you may be a forerunner, but I am sure that in time, people, more and more people understand. Now you see that what I'm doing in my village or in my practice, integrating different systems of medicine, Harvard is doing it. All the Institute of Medical Sciences started to do it. It became a global policy. So you are not inventor of that. You are the forerunner of that. And you establish, and you're successfully, you establish a place with 120 nationalities coming and with the most complex medical condition. Or somebody want to just improve their health, they can also come. And spend that time with the healing sanctuary and they get transformation. That is give you the award more than any money.
Yeah.
And any fame or anything. That is the happiness you get. That is a purpose. You fulfill your purpose in life. We are expanding to other countries and all that because we want to spread the message to other places also. Absolutely. And we are doing some research. We are not talking only on the faith and yes, it will happen, that happened. We are doing some very major scientific research on the effect of the treatment on healing. And the world is also not ready that to accept this rather than talking only about scientific.
Yeah.
I can talk forever, but I don't want to bore you.
No, not at all. I just want to be mindful of your time. So before I go into the questions, Doctor, I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm sure I speak for everybody on this podcast, that it has been so eye-opening, so refreshing, and it's truly been a masterclass to spend this last 45 minutes with you. And I know how busy you are. Thank you so much for your time. And I'll just post a few questions, if you don't mind, just about 4 or 5 questions before we stop. Thank you, Doctor. So there is a question. Can you share with us one top moment of your life where you took a step that changed your life journey decisively for the better? How did you identify that moment before it actually took place?
No, I was going to London on the way. When I was 25 years old, I was practicing yoga, a little yoga. And I did a therapeutic yoga, so I can teach people. And I went to an international conference. I was 25. International conference to yogic management in homeopathic treatment in France. Then I went to London. Like a miracle, one of the very famous doctor allowed me to come into his clinic. And that changed my life completely. And you'll be laughed at in that time. I was 25. We are world famous patients like George Harrison of Beatles and Tina Turner and all these people coming in and out of the clinic, but I didn't know none of them. None of them. I never heard about them. I never listened to any of their songs or music, nothing. And people said, you don't know? I said, yeah, I am coming from in a tribal belt near the jungle. I'm a jungle boy. How do I know Tina Turner and George Harrison? Then I went and told them. They laughed and laughed and laughed. They said, this is the first time we are meeting somebody who never know about us. I said, then they said, that's what I like about you, because you didn't pretend. So there are few instances like this. I learned the biggest lessons from my own patients, not necessarily famous, very simple patients. And they'll give you confidence, and somebody walked out of you because you are your English is so bad, and they're a world famous person. Then I cannot talk to him. After 2 months, that person only wanted to see you. Still, that patient is a good friend, and I'm the personal physician. That transformed. Because I would say there is no substitute for genuinity, honesty, and integrity. There's no substitute. So you don't have to fake it anything. To be truly who you are. And you give that to people. People can feel it.
Yes.
Yeah, people ask me why you are in suit all the time. I said, if I put my Indian dress, they'll make me a guru. I don't want to be a guru. Because in 25 years, when I was good and I was teaching yoga, there was a lot of women wanted to be my disciples. I said, no, I don't want to be a guru. They asked me also, don't put the where, Jan, you put your, like a Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, you are very good, you know the philosophy. Yes, I read 5 books, so I know the philosophy, enough to teach them, not to the others. So today I tell jokingly, I could be a better guru than so many gurus now in town.
Thank you, Doctor. Doctor, I'll just ask you a few more questions. How would you define the acceptance of holistic treatment in Western societies? Does SOUKYA have any US facilities? George Armstrong is asking this question.
No, I don't. I used to, now also I see patients in New York and Washington. I was used to see so many places, but I have in 25 states, I have patients, 35 years I've seen them. Earlier, I used to go 6 times a year. Now I go once or twice a year. Now my focus is those who need to reach out to me. If necessary, I'll meet them in New York or Washington or London, and they'll come over here. I used to do outpatient type of practices in US, but now I stopped that because I'm too busy over here. But it is worth traveling all the way to India and spend some time in SOUKYA if they have that time. I have California to Arizona to all over America. People are coming. I don't need to be everybody patient. People are coming over here. But in future, we are setting up a new place in Portugal that with God's grace, it will be coming up in a couple of years' time. They'll be closer to US.
Yes, absolutely. Raghu Raman is asking a question. Can you help us with your top moment in life? Oh, I think I already asked you this. 1 second. There's another question. 1 second. Okay, so Preeti Raja has appreciated you and said, I really appreciate Dr. Mathai's 360-degree approach to well-being. Most diseases are psychosomatic and going deeper to understanding the root cause. Amazing.
Right.
Any more questions?
I want to say that you don't need to be a doctor to be a healer.
Okay.
A doctor can add on that medical knowledge, but you can be a healer in your own right by dealing with the people.
Thank you, Doctor. That's a really refreshing perspective. There are no more questions, but a lot of people sending in hearts, as you can see, and thumbs up signs. I just wanted to ask you just one little thing. Is there any parting wisdom that you can give us as coaches and counselors and people who are in the sphere of transforming people, not because we feel that people are helpless and that they can't do it on their own, because we as coaches in the coaching fraternity, according to the ICF, which is our coaching federation, we believe that everybody has the answers to what they want. The answers lie within them. But as coaches, we are partnering with them without any judgment to unlock those answers for them to achieve and to live their highest potential. So you said so many things which were so synchronistic with what we believe in. And so we're really interested to know if there's anything that you would like to give us some kind of advice or share some wisdom with us. I
already mentioned this. I suddenly coming that one is your intention.
Yes.
Second is your unbiased approach. Third is 3L. Listen, listen, listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And I just wanted to point out, it's so uncanny. I think that painting behind you is an M.F. Hussain.
That's right.
And it's Mother Teresa.
That's right.
And my grandmother was one of Mother Teresa's best friends. You know about that. Mm-hmm. And, Mother Teresa was, what do you think about her? She was one of the greatest healers, right?
Unconditional giving. In my book, I wrote about that.
Unconditional giving. And so, don't you think she was one of the most, one of the most fantastic healers because of her, what she believed in, her faith?
I spent some time with her and she was alive a couple of times. What I learned, I came back in a way transformed because I have felt that unconditional giving from her, the way their innocence and the way she's dealing with individual and what she was giving, which my lifetime I haven't seen any human being is doing that, touching that level in that head of patient. When you look at that, what we are doing is nothing.
Yeah.
God bless us all.
Yes. Thank you so much, Doctor. My mentor, Ujjwal, has said, thank you, Avrril and Dr. Mathai, for a super insightful session. Everyone saying truly wonderful. Thanks for the guidance and for those pearls of wisdom. I guessed right, Mother Teresa. Somebody guessed the picture behind you, Catherine. She says, I visited her shrine in Kolkata in February, all the way from Kenya. And George Armstrong says again, refreshing and inspiring talk. Thank you very much. Doctor, I value your time and I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for taking out this time, for enriching us with your wisdom. And the most important thing that I find in you is your ever, ever, ever present humility. Thank you so much from my heart to yours. Thank you. Thank you. Take care, Doctor. Stay blessed. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you.